While it's not uncommon to see wrestlers from the 1980s or even earlier still working in the ring, it isn't always a pretty sight. Some wrestlers are still working at an age when they should be enjoying their social security checks. Join us now as WrestleLamia looks at wrestlers who need to retire but probably won't. As we'll see, there are wrestlers who are just so old that it seems mind-boggling that they still compete. In some cases, it may be argued a wrestler has nothing else to do to make money, but as we'll see, several of these superstars have outside ventures capable of supporting them. It's more than likely that they do it for the same reason as younger wrestlers, the thrill of being a performer and reliving the magic from their glory days. Let's first look at wrestlers who should have retired a long time ago. These performers know how to work at their current age within the physical limitations caused by the aging process. However, there's no need for them to wrestle as they are still a shell of themselves and bring nothing but name value to an indie show. Frankly, they're better served by appearing in a non-wrestling capacity such as special referee, manager, or even ring announcer. Number 1. TITO Santana. WWE Hall of Famer TITO Santana is a two-time Intercontinental Champion and two-time WWF Tag Team Champion. Quite an achievement when he won the belts and titles were held much longer. Santana left the WWF and became a middle school teacher, also branching out into business ventures such as owning a hair salon. At 65, TITO Santana still competes at indie shows, proving how difficult it is for some wrestlers to retire. While Santana doesn't work a high-flying spot style that is tough on his body, El Matador should be spending his time out of the ring managing his businesses or sharing ring stories at the various wrestling conventions across the country. In a 2017 interview, Santana explained why he still wrestles. "I'm a school teacher. I've been teaching school. This is my 21st year. I'm a Spanish teacher in the middle school here in the town that I live, in Roxbury, New Jersey. Then, a couple of weekends a month, I go and I make appearances once in a while. Believe it or not, I still get in the ring. I don't do much in the ring, but I still like to lace up the boots and get out there. It doesn't get old to hear the response from the wrestling fans because they appreciate the work that you did. That's what you know with the applause and the cheers for you. It never gets old to hear the applause. In the small shows, you get to meet the wrestling fans and they always bring up moments that they remember." Number 2. Jerry the King Lawler. Jerry Lawler's legacy in and out the ring as a promoter and announcer are outstanding, yet Lawler continues to risk his life by stepping into the ring. Recall Lawler suffered a heart attack on 10th September 2012, the same night that he worked a tag team match. While Lawler is not allowed to compete in WWE rings, he continues to wrestle at indie shows. At 69 years of age, Lawler shouldn't be wrestling, particularly given his cardiac woes. Nonetheless, Lawler can't keep himself away from the ring. In February 2019, he worked at a wrestling fundraiser for a local high school softball team, and he discussed why he still wrestles. "Smaller events like the Chargers fundraiser or those I do with Michael Lombardi's Northeast Wrestling Association, they're more like the old school wrestling I started with. Fans get to shake hands with the wrestlers, have real interactions with them. It's the sort of wrestling I've always enjoyed. I love what I do and I get paid for it. And going out and performing in front of a crowd, it's as fun as ever." Number 3. Greg Valentine. The Hammer did what few second-generation wrestlers are able to do, surpass their famous parents' success in the ring. The son of Johnny Valentine, Greg's been wrestling since the 1970s and was a main event performer wherever he worked. Valentine alternated between Jim Crockett Promotions and the WWF during the 1970s, but it's his 1980s WWF career where he became a national star, winning the Intercontinental and WWF Tag Team Championship. Amazingly, the Hammer still competes today at the age of 67, a testament to both his body's resilience and different style from his generation. That's not to say the man who kayfabe broke Wahoo McDaniel and Jay Strongbow's legs with the figure 4 leg lock worked a pushover style during his heyday. In a recent interview, Valentine recalled, "When I was wrestling, I wanted them to believe everything that I did in the ring. That's why I worked solid. That's why I had them hit me hard. It was all a different concept back then." Number 4. The Rock and Roll Express. Entertainer Dick Clark used to be known as America's oldest teenager. But since his passing, that title may have to go to Ricky Morton, one half of the teen heartthrob tag team the Rock and Roll Express, a duo that helped redefine tag team wrestling during the second golden age of tag team wrestling in the 1980s. However, that was 3 decades ago, and even the former heartthrobs have lost a step in the ring. Both Morton and tag partner Robert Gibson look good for their ages at 62 and 60, and fans still pay to see them working at indie shows. Indeed, the Rock and Roll Express are working in the indie version of the Crockett Cup, a tag team tournament being held in North Carolina, a state where the Rock and Roll Express have worked many matches in the past, and it's likely many more to come. Morton and Gibson often boasted that rock and roll will never die, and their continued presence in the ring attests to that. Nonetheless, when you look out into the audience and see grandmothers hoping to be rock and roll ring rats, it might be time to retire. Number 5. Brutus Beefcake. Recent WWE Hall of Fame inductee Brutus the Barber Beefcake is a mere 62 years of age, but he sure doesn't cut and strut like he used to. Beefcake, who suffered what appeared to be a career-ending injury in the early 90s, returned to the ring, working alongside Hulk Hogan in WCW before hitting the independent circuit following WCW's demise. The Barber has become a fixture on the indie circuit, and in his recent memoir Cuttin' and Struttin' seems to have sparked further interest in his personal appearances, but it's questionable how many people want to see a guy who was never known for his work rate meandering around the ring most of the time. But let's move on to wrestlers who can move on to bigger and better things. These wrestlers have done much in the ring and either established profitable business ventures outside the ring, or are in a position to capitalize on their wrestling fame in a non-wrestling capacity. Number 6. Kane. Glenn Jacobs has had an amazing career, struggling for years to find success in a number of roles, including Isaac Yankum, an evil dentist that might have persuaded other men to pursue something more dignified, such as cleaning out stables. Instead, he persevered, finding incredible success as the Big Red Machine Kane. Jacobs has thrived in his role as Kane, parlaying fame into outside endeavors such as real estate business and a small Hollywood career. Jacobs' greatest non-wrestling endeavor to date is his new role as mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. While Kane has had the opportunity to still wrestle occasionally, there's no need for the 52-year-old superstar to compete. He's been extraordinarily blessed by working for so many years without any significant injuries, and his constituents would likely prefer that he focus his attention on his mayoral duties. The WWF should give Kane a proper send-off, allowing him to retire. Number 7. The Undertaker. The Undertaker recently came to an agreement with the WWE where he's going to stay with the company rather than appear at wrestling conventions. With Taker rumored to be commanding $25,000 for an hour's appearance, he was looking at a very lucrative career outside the ring. If you look at his last few matches, it's obvious that even the Phenom has struggled to battle Father Time, making for somewhat embarrassing matches, especially when he takes down his singlet. Perhaps inspired by these so-so performances, The Undertaker underwent a rigorous diet and exercise program that led to him losing weight and sporting a much healthier appearance. It seems obvious The Undertaker wants to eke out a few more matches, and the WWE knows The Undertaker is still a huge draw, relying on his legacy with older fans and the mystique he still commands. Nonetheless, The Undertaker needs to re-evaluate his wrestling career before he destroys his legacy. Number 8. John Cena. John Cena is only 42, but it's clear his wrestling career is little but an afterthought. The WWE should give the former Doctor of Thugonomics a good send-off, as fans know Cena appears and wrestles less than Brock Lesnar. As Cena's Hollywood career demands more of his time, it's not realistic to think fans will count on seeing him much in the WWE. Cena should focus on Hollywood and put his WWF career in the past, save for special appearances such as hosting WrestleMania. Since wrestling retirement means nothing, 1 or 2 subsequent appearances would mean more and a better chance of being accepted by the fans. Now we move on to something extreme, a wrestler who needs to retire more than anyone else on this list. Number 9. Terry Funk. Terry Funk is one of professional wrestling's most beloved figures, boasting a storied history as NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and arguably an even more impressive career at a time when most wrestlers had retired. Funk has taken the retirement tour to a new level, retiring more times than he's won championship belts. At 74, Funk not only continues to wrestle, but take bumps that would seriously injure most men his age. Yes, we understand Funk isn't going to retire, and while we don't hope it happens, there's a good chance he'll end his days in the ring. If that happens, it's going to become another black eye on the industry, with media pundits digging up every past scandal in wrestling. The industry doesn't need this, and Funk should consider this before he steps into the ring again. But there you have it, guys. 9 wrestlers who need to retire but probably won't. Is there anybody else who belongs on this list? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.